Hey lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is going to be the review for Dungeons & Dragons issue 75. We get our final giant die in this. It's the D100 or percentile die. Now my delivery dropped a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't expecting to get the final 6 issues with that delivery. So as well as 75, we've got 76, 77, 78, 79 and 80. So come and join me on the desk and we will have a look at issue 75. Right then lovelies, Dungeons & Dragons issue 75, we get our final giant die, the 100 percentile die. Pop that there, we can have a look at that in a mo. Let's have a look at the magazine. Urban Encounters, Trouble in the City. Dice Maths for Fun and Realism, Random Encounters Part 3. We have a D12 plus D8 random encounter chart here. Cool. So, Animals on the Loose, Announcement, Brawl, Bullies, Companion, Contest, Corpse, Draft, Drunk, Fire, Found Trinket, Guard, Harassment, Pickpocket, Procession, Protest, Runaway Cart, Shady Transaction, Spectacle and Urchin. This table asks you to roll a D12 and a D8 and add the results together. Using multiple dice rather than a single D20 allows you to create encounter tables with rare encounters and more common encounters. The odds of each roll on this table form a bell curve in which the odds of rolling 2 or a 20 are a mere 1% each, but rolls of 9 through 13 are all equally common at 8% each. On a simple 1d20 table, every single result has an even 5% chance of occurring. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. When making your own table, put rare encounters on the top and bottom and common ones in the middle of the table. That is really clever actually. And then it just goes through some of the bits and pieces of the different sections like Animals on the Loose, Announcement, Brawl, etc. All through. And we have a stat block for Spy. Personalising spells. Express your individuality by putting a unique spin on the spells you cast. Customizing your character needn't end when you've chosen class, background and species. If you like to envision your D&D game with a real world or like a real world or like a movie, personalizing the sensory details of the spells you cast is another great way to add depth and excitement to your game. Think of it in the same way that every performer adds a flash of personal flair to their art, or how every warrior develops their own unique fighting style. You can tailor your spells to fit your character's personality and backstory, or simply make your spells stand out in the life of an adventurer for whom magic is an everyday fact of life. It's a chance to get creative, whether that's changing the colour, shape, smell or sound effects of your spells. Regardless of what type of spellcaster you're playing, you can customise the cosmetic effects of your character's spells. But we should make clear that it's the look and feel of your character spells that you'll be changing. Such alterations can't change the effects of a spell. I think that is pretty clear. Endless role-playing possibilities. They're giving you a D10 rolling chart here for magic themes. And then we are on to character creation, spell casting feats. Chalk, check. Candles, check. Ritual book, check. Let's make some magic. So if you want to dabble in arcane rituals, Successful spellcasters often look for new ways to increase the number of spells they know, while characters without any existing arcane knowledge might fancy adding some to their repertoire. Choosing a feat such as Ritual Caster when you reach 4th level in a class can give you the magical spark your character is looking for. Remember that taking a feat is an optional rule and replaces the ability score. So if you take a feat, it replaces the ability score, which means that you won't be adding like 1 or 2 to the dexterity, strength, wisdom scores that you have. The feat replaces that. For more on your options, see Character Creation Overview 24A, Introduction to Feats. Some feats also require a prerequisite, and to choose the Ritual Caster feat, your character must have an Intelligence or Wisdom ability score of 13 or higher. So they give you a chart here. When you choose this feat, you have learned a number of spells that you can cast as rituals. These spells are written in a ritual book which you acquire and must have this book in hand while casting one of them. The ritual book holds 2 1st level spells of your choice. Choose one of the following classes: Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock or Wizard. You must choose your spells from that class's spell list. See the table below, and the spells you choose must have the ritual tag. The class you choose also determines your spellcasting ability for these spells. Charisma for Bard, Sorcerer or Warlock, Intelligence for Wizard, or Wisdom for Cleric or Druid. So ritual spells are Alarm, Ceremony, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Detect Poison and Disease, Find Familiar, Identify, Illusory Script, Purify Food and Drink, Speak with Animals, Tensor's Floating Disc, and Unseen Servant. Spell location, Character Creation C. This is just where it's located, the information about it within the collection, the D&D Adventure collection, and then you've just got basically a tick chart here for which spells each different class can do. So Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock and Wizard. You just go along to see which ones you can use. Bards and Wizards seem to have the most. We then have information on Find Familiar, Illusory Script and Tensor's Floating Disc. Lore for our green section, The Abyss. Welcome to the endless layers of a chaotic plane ruled by odious and depraved demon lords. While cunning and methodical devils have made their home in the Nine Hells, also known as Baator, their chaotic and destructive counterparts, the demons, reside in the Abyss. The Abyss embodies all that is perverse and gruesome, and much of it is in a decaying, crumbling or corroded state. The endless layers of the abyss will spiral downward into ever more appalling forms. Each layer boasts a horrific environment that is harsh and inhospitable to mortals. Those who have gained enough power to command lesser demons hold sway over entire realms as demon lords. Notable layers and the demon lords who reside there are listed in this article. Layer 1, the plane of infinite portals, is the miserable gateway to the abyss. Gaping craters act as portals to the other layers, as well as Pandemonium, Sigil and the astral plane, and perhaps others, making this layer the best option to escape the abyss. Corroded iron fortresses, homes of petty lords and upstart demons, defend the routes to the lower layers. Layers 45, 46 and 47, the corrupt and decadent city of Azagrat sprawls across multiple layers. Grazd, the Lord of Pleasure and Limitless Indulgence, rules here. Okay, layer 600. The Endless Mage is a labyrinth that turns visitors into Baphomet's prey, embodying the Demon Lord's bestial bloodlust. The Horned King and the Prince of Beasts reside in an enormous palace at the centre of this this never-ending dungeon. Layer 222, also known as Shedaklar or Shedaklar, depending. The Slime Pits is ruled by two repugnant demon lords, Jublex and Zuktmoy, who coexist with little conflict. A fetid realm of ooze and fungi, this layer obeys the whims of its two masters, Jublex, the Faceless Lord, and the Demon Lord of Slime and Oozes, is an alien creature thought to be responsible for spawning all oozes. Zuktmoy, the Demon Queen of Fungi and the Lady of Rotten Decay, resides in a palace of immense mushrooms hollowed into grand chambers and twisting corridors. Oh, are they the parents of Nurgle? They sound like they could be the parents of Nurgle. Right, layer 66. The demon web has an immense network of thick magical webbing that forms passageways and cocoon-like chambers. Is home of the Spider Queen Lolth. Structures, ships and other objects are caught in its webs, which also conceal random portals to other demi-planes and the material plane. Dungeons have been built amid the webbing to trap the hated enemies of the Demon Queen of Spiders, who dwells far beneath them in the bottomless demon web pits. Cool. Right, Bullets. This is Law B monsters. Thought by some to be the result of a wizard's arcane experiments, Bullets are fast, fearless, and always, and we mean always, hungry. Like many adventurers, Bullets have an all-time favourite meal. Unfortunately for certain adventurers, that meal is halflings, and these monstrosities will relentlessly pursue their snack of choice across fields, villages, and anywhere else they reside. Cool. It looks like... I mean, it looks like an armoured hippo. Only a bit bigger. Golbron. Bullets pose as much danger to dwarven subterranean communities as they do to towns and villages above ground. In Dwarvish, these tunnelling terrors are known as Golbron, and the legendary king Malar, ruler of the Melakin dwarves, fought one of his most famous battles against one of these monsters. However, after killing the creature, Malar did something unexpected. He reanimated the Bullet's body to serve him. The undead Golbron eventually became the guardian of King Malar's tomb in the Undermountain mega dungeon beneath Waterdeep in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage Adventure. Yugoloths, spawned by night hags, these mercenary fiends fight for the highest bidder until a new bid is made. Very fox-like. An Arcanoloth. These jackal-headed beings magically take any humanoid form. Well-groomed, intelligent spellcasters who hunger for knowledge and power. Arcanoloths command units of lesser Yugoloths and maintain the contracts of their kind. Beware the Finger of Death spell when crossing an Arcanoloth. If the devils of the Nine Hells were creatures of cosmic law, the evil and the demons of the abyss are innately chaotic evil. then there must be a lower plane between them indeed. The bleak eternity of Gehenna is home to the Yugoloths, who fight for either side in the fiend's eternal blood war. They care not for the devil's law, nor the demon's chaos. No, they now offer their services to the highest bidder. So there you go. Oh, here we go. There's all sorts. Right. There's a Canoloth. There's a Durgaloth. There's a Hydroloth. There's a Mesoloth. Yagnoloth. Ultraloth. Oinoloth. Nikoloth. And a Merinoloth. Okay, fair enough. And then we're talking about celestials. These divine creatures of the upper planes are beautiful, virtuous, and wrathful. Celestial, beyond Fair Run and the material plane lie the outer planes. While the lower planes are places of great evil and chaos, the upper planes are ruled over by divine forces and inhabited by good aligned creatures. Many of these creatures are so virtuous as to be considered celestial and include Pegasus, unicorns, and a variety of angels. Unicorns, Empyreans. While almost all celestial beings are good aligned, these children of the gods are the exception. Empyreans, also known as Titans, may be from the upper planes, but are unaligned by nature. They forge their own approach to life and follow their own sense of virtues within it. For those adventurers that cross a Titan, be warned, as divine children, they carry the power to cast firestorms and earthquakes, can summon bolts of energy, and are able to crush lesser beings beneath their massive mauls. Okay. New rule, don't upset the Empyreans. Then we're on to our encounter, the tip of the spear. Encounter background. The adventurers have emerged from the dungeons of Castle Never, where the shadowy lieutenant of Kraesir the Undying was conjuring a rift to the Shadowfell. After destroying the Shadow Knight, for now, the rift collapsed. Now Kraesir can no longer shroud the dead hold in the death cloud. Despite their victory, the sickness caused by the plague stone is still raging. To save Neverwinter, the adventurers must now seek out and destroy this artifact and the necromancer who wields it. The characters must fight their way across the city to reach Kraesir's base, the dead hold. To get to this location, they must undertake a combat in each district they pass through. So, as I suspected, last week's double set of maps is we've got this one. Again, I'm going to turn around and say I think they missed a trick in not making it to scale, you know, like they have some of the other maps. This is the map in question. Now, I'm sure you could probably take it to a printer's and get them to blow it up. And print it on maybe an A3. I don't know how much difference those squares are. So normally it's 1 inch to 5 feet. These are around about, I don't know, 3/5 of a way through, maybe, of an inch, 3/5 of an inch. They're not halfway, that's for certain. If you put the halfway mark on there, so look, we'll put a half an inch mark there. You can see that there's space either side. Each half, there's still sort of like a couple of 1/16 to go on each side to that. So yeah, you could potentially get a printers to blow this up onto an A3 piece of paper to scale, if that's what you wanted to do, or you could, if you so wanted, make it yourself, and just whatever buildings you might happen to have, just put them down. So we have the war map from one of our previous encounters. We're still using that. Beginning the encounter, Dark Dilemma, Talia Ashfield. When she's not dying of the fever, Thelia is a charming elf with slightly rounded ears, a sign of human blood. In her lineage, she also has some renown in Neverwinter as a local bard and was even invited to play for Lord Neverember earlier in his vaunted political career. Previously, the party helped her retrieve a scroll that was stolen from the House of Knowledge. So we have this map. It's just a crossroads. We've got a crashed coach and we have a barricade at one end. Wow, I like this. This is cool. This is lovely artwork here. It looks like you're going to combat a couple of combats here. A Soul Shaker, skeletal Juggernaut, Soul Shaker. Wow, it's just arms and fingers. Fair enough. Large undead, typically chaotic evil. Hit points 76, speed 20 feet, strength is 20 plus 5, dex is 8 minus 1, con is 18 plus 4, intelligence is 8 minus 1, wisdom is 11, that's 0, and charisma is 14 plus 2. And then we have a crawling claw. It's Thing. Thing has been doing a bit of a side hustle whenever he's not with Wednesday. Cool. Excellent. Right, that was the magazine. Let's have a look at our D100. We get a nice little velvet cloth pouch, which I've been using for other collections. I haven't been putting the individual die in there. So this is a black and white one. 90, 80, 50. The way that this would work is you would normally roll these two together, and for example that would be 37. 42. And that's how that would work. Or if you just wanted it as a percentile, you could go 20%, 100%, and so on and so forth. So you can use it in combination or just on its own. So that completes our giant dice series. And these are obviously the other ones that we've had in the collection. So we've got our D20, our D12, we got our D8, our D6, there's our D10, D100 and D4. All have come in various colours, often corresponding to whatever particular colour was being promoted at the time. So for example, like issues 1 to 10, the dice were all some sort of variation of red, for example. And within that we got the red D20. And that, yeah, I mean, I mean, together they've got a little bit of weight to them. These are, I think they're great as novelty dice. I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, I play Warhammer 40k, and to be quite honest, I'm probably going to use this large one as a round tracker. And then maybe this to just track command points. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily keep these in a bag if I was going to play Dungeons and Dragons somewhere. Oh, that was a 1 on the D20, a 5, a 9, 5, 8, 11, 18, 19, 10. I was getting excited then. Right, anyway, so that was this week's Dungeons and Dragons adventure. I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully you will join me in the next video. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.